Welcome back, Night Viewers. In today's video, we're diving deep into the new Elden Ring Nightreign DLC, The Forsaken Hollows. This expansion brings new characters, new abilities, new Night Lords, returning bosses from previous From Software titles, and an entirely new shifting Arath called the Great Hollow. Before anything else, let's talk about how to get into the Forsaken Hollow. To enter the DLC, players must have defeated Tricephalus. The good news is, you don't have to beat them again. If you've already defeated them previously in your past playthroughs, the game automatically unlocks access. Once you hop onto the game, return to the Round Table Hold. When you arrive, Iron Manuel will walk up to you. He explains that the Bazaar Jar has been complaining about strange noises behind a nearby door. When you head over to investigate, the door leads you straight into a new boss fight. After defeating this surprise encounter, you will be returned to that same spot. This time, you'll discover two new characters waiting for you, Undertaker and Scholar. These two are the main additions to the Nightreign roster, and they bring new mechanics never seen in Elden Ring before. The first new character is Undertaker, a mysterious figure tied deeply to death magic and cursed energy. His passive ability is Confluence. Now, this passive is powerful and incredibly unique. Confluence allows you to use your ultimate art whenever any of your allies use theirs, even if your own ultimate gauge isn't full. This means battles can swing in your favor. If your team chains ultimates or uses them back to back, Undertaker effectively gets free ultimates. It's extremely strong during coordinated fights or big boss encounters. His character skill is called Trance, and this is the main combat skill. When you activate Trance, you move faster, you deal more damage, dodging costs less stamina, sprinting costs no stamina at all, and thanks to bloodletting, you can reactivate Trance again if your ultimate gauge is full, even if it just ended. This means skill players can stay in Trance for long stretches of time, weaving in and out of enemies with near constant pressure. Trance turns the Undertaker into a high-speed assassin, perfect for aggressive Night Viewers. Ultimate art is called Loathsome Hex, and this is where things get interesting. When you use this ability, Undertaker pulls out an uncanny bone from her own body. Yeah. She then launches herself straight toward the target at high speed and strikes with massive force. But there is one big warning. Make sure nothing is in the way. If there's any obstacles, pillars, rocks, walls, maybe your mom stopping you from playing the game, the ability can be blocked or interrupted. Loathsome Hex is one of the strongest single target ultimates in the game, but it has a huge caveat as well. Our second new character is Scholar, a strategic support and analysis focused caster. They bring a fresh, analytical, tactical playstyle. Let's start with the passive ability, Bagcraft. Bagcraft does two things. You can carry more items than normal, and items level up when you use them. So any item you use, whether it's a buff, a throwing pot, or a dagger, gains experience, but remember, it has to hit a target. Once an item reaches level 3, it unlocks a secondary effect. For example, a level 3 throwing pot might explode with extra impact. A level 3 buff might last longer or provide an additional boost, and a level 3 dagger might deal bonus damage or apply a status effect. Bagcraft rewards creative item usage and keeps you experimenting with your loadout. It's kind of like Kevin Hart's in that movie with The Rock and that other person when they went to like some sort of Jumanji and he has to carry the weapons. That's who you are. Their character skill Analyze is their signature skill and has both offense and defensive uses. So here's how it works. Scholar looks at an enemy through their monocle. While you're analyzing, you cannot use weapons. First of all, who's really... Would you analyze your enemies through a monocle? It's like the peanut guy, you know? The guy with the peanut and the monocle and top hat. So while you're looking through this monocle, you cannot use weapons. Your hands are empty, so timing and positioning is important. And the ability appears as spirit symbols that stick to the enemy or ally. When you use Analyze on enemies, it debuffs them. Level 1, enemies deal slightly less damage. Level 2, enemy deals even less damage. And level 3, your next attack on that enemy deals bonus damage. Plus, the closer you stand to the enemy, the faster Analyze completes. But remember, you're vulnerable while doing this. But what happens when you use Analyze on allies? Well, the opposite, you get buffs. Level 1, it improves your stamina. Level 2, a little bit more stamina. And level 3, you get a protective shield that bursts into a shockwave when hit. This makes Scholar an incredible support character who can enhance both damage and defense depending on the situation. His ultimate is called Communion and it completely changes the battlefield. When used, Scholar scatters pages from a taboo tome. These pages connect every enemy together and every ally together as well. So this means if one enemy takes damage, all enemies take damage. If one ally gets hit, all allies get hit. You know, this is those type of skills you don't want to invite that one friend to play with you. Communion can be risky but extremely rewarding, so if your team has strong healing or powerful burst attacks, the ultimate art multiplies their impact across the entire fight. Now, the DLC also introduces new Night Lords, powerful, lore-rich figures tied to the darkness of the Forsaken Hollow. Our first Night Lord is called the Balancers. They're disciplined masters of equilibrium and judgment where you fight 7 enemies at once. This is exactly the kind of fight where the Scholar becomes valuable. Debuffs, shields, and Communion's linking ability can turn chaos into opportunity. Their main weakness is sleep. It's my weakness too, I don't get enough of that. Night Furies who prepare sleep evicting items or weapons will have a much easier time fighting them. Our second Night Lord is called the Dreglord. Who came up with these names? The Dreglord? As you would imagine, the Dreglord is the opposite of the Balancers, wild, chaotic, and corrupt. Expect heavy corruption mechanics, unpredictable attacks, and abilities that distort the battlefield. These Night Lords provide tough late game challenges and deepen the world's lore. We'll talk about all the tips and tricks you know in order to defeat them way easier in the next videos. Now, one of the most exciting parts of the Forsaken Hollow is the lineup of returning bosses from past From Software titles. Number 1 being Artorias, the Abyss Walker from Dark Souls 1 DLC. This is a fan favorite who returns with new moves adapted to Elden Ring's combat system. Number 2 is Demon in Pain and Demon from Below from Dark Souls 3. These two appear together just like before, creating a chaotic 2-boss encounter. And number 3, Mog, Lord of Blood, True Form. In Nightreign, Mog appears in his true version, far more powerful than the one in the base game. Expect devastating blood-based magic and aggressive pressure. These bosses add nostalgic excitement, but also serious difficulty. But wait, there's more, because this DLC also brings a new shifting earth called the Great Hollow, which is pretty much a new map instead of a shifting earth. It's a huge, confusing map, unlike anything in the base game. Paths twist, terrain shift, and it can take some time to learn your way around. Players have praised the music, which does a fantastic job of setting the tone, mysterious, eerie, and beautiful. Although the development team reportedly had limited resources, the results still deliver strong atmosphere and creativity. It may not be perfect, and some Night Furies might wish for more gear or new weapon types, but the content that is included shows effort and heart. So those are all great things about the game, but what's missing? Well, one disappointing note from players is that the DLC does not add any new weapons from Shadow of the Erdtree. This has surprised the community since new weapons are usually a staple of Elden Ring expansions. Still, the 2 new characters, the new bosses, and the large new area provide plenty of content to explore. So here's my final thoughts on this DLC. Undertaker and Scholar bring completely new ways to play. Whether you prefer high-speed aggression or tactical support, the new Night Lords and end-of-day bosses push your skills to the limit. And the Great Hollow gives Night Furies a massive, mysterious world to explore. Even with limited resources, the developers delivered a strong expansion with unique ideas and memorable encounters. Sure, it could have included more weapons or additional equipment, but what's here is engaging, atmospheric, and full of flavor. If you've been craving more Elden Ring content, especially content with darker themes and experimental mechanics, the Forsaken Hollows is absolutely worth exploring.